Hello and welcome to the 360 Degrees show, and today as we mark the eve of World Children's Day, we turn the spotlight on our most valuable resource, children. Under the theme, Listen to the Future, we'll explore the importance of hearing children's voices in shaping the policies and practices that affect them. Joining me are distinguished guests who play vital roles in advocating for children's rights and creating inclusive opportunities. Together, we'll delve into how Rwanda is championing these efforts locally and globally, and most importantly, we'll hear directly from the children themselves about their dreams and aspirations. Stay with us for an inspiring hour of intergenerational dialogue. Joining me today are some few guests in the studio. Ms. Aline Umutoni, the Director General in charge of Family Promotion and Child Protection. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
We also have Juliana Lindsay, UNICEF Rwanda representative. Welcome to the show.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you. Moving ahead, while we start this show, we will also welcome other guests shortly, but I would like to start with Aline. How does the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion ensure that children's voices, we are speaking about children, so how do you ensure that children's voices are meaningfully integrated into policies and programs under the National Strategy for Transformation?
Thank you so much. We acknowledge that Rwanda has made commendable progress in advancing the children's rights. We see many achievements, including ensuring that the children's voice is heard and also considered as informing the development of key policies and also the strategies as well as the programs that ensure that children are taken well care of. I would say that among what has been done to ensure that the children's voices are ensured, we have seen the establishment of child-centered platforms. We have the Children's Forum and then the National Children's Summit. These are regular platforms that are organized to ensure that the children's voices are heard. Children are given time and space to express themselves, to express their aspirations, their needs, and as well as to explain what is their context and their lived experiences. Through these platforms, the children's voices are given enough time, and their ideas and contributions are really taken into consideration while developing different programs, strategies that affect in a positive way their lives, and also which ensures that their future and aspirations are really fostered as we move forward. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'll move on to Juliana Lindsay before we also welcome our other guests. UNICEF advocates for the rights of children in various ways. And how does UNICEF works with Rwanda and also the government to address disparities in children's access to education, health, and protection in general? And what are you doing currently to ensure that their rights are well cared for?
Well, one of our main purposes is to help a government to deliver services for children and for families. So in fact, just this morning, I was at an event that the National Child Development Agency was undertaking, launching the new ECD mapping tool, the Early Childhood Development Mapping Tool, which enables a district or a national government to see all of the early childhood development centers in their district, or in the sector, or in the cell, and then to see which ones have water, how many children are in the center, what kind of services do they provide, and that then helps them make sure that in places that don't have ECD services, they can then target those and make sure that those areas are prioritized for ECD services in the future. So that's just one small example of how we collaborate with the government to make sure that every child, whether in urban or in rural areas, gets the chance to have early childhood development services.
Today we also have guests in this show. There are two beautiful children, a boy and a girl. There is Sarah Asimwe, 17 years old, studying at Maranyundo Girls School. There's also Jean de Dieu Nyonzima, 15-year-old, studying at Nyaruguru Best Education Institute for the Blind Children in Kibeho. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I would like for you to start by saying your poems that you have for us today.
Thank you so much. The poem I have for you today, it's the letter I'm writing to leaders, parents, teachers, adults, and children protection interveners at large. So,
can you read it for us?
Okay, thank you so much. Dear all leaders, parents, teachers, adults, and children protection interveners at large. I'm glad to write to you this letter, appreciating for your efforts and the opportunities we are given as children to raise our awareness by speaking out the issues we are facing. Thanking our government and all children supporting institutions at large. In fact, I wrote this letter to acknowledge everyone's contribution to provision of all our rights as the future generation. Through this, I'd like to request the whole world at large to take responsibility to ensure that every child gets basic rights, unconditional love and encouragement, accessibility to all necessary resources to support us in attaining quality education, giving us enough time to elaborate and give out our opinions as future leaders, scientists, doctors, in general working in different domains, because we are the foundation for building a future fair and just society. Growing healthy, educated, safe, and protected will help us to contribute positively to our future. With your help, our barriers to success will be eliminated. We can learn from the challenges that our parents faced in order to build a stronger society. We believe that together with you, we are the future. Thank you so much.
And we'll also hear from Jean de Dieu Nyonzima. Jean de Dieu, welcome to the show, and also I would love to hear about your letter.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Nyonzima Jean de Dieu. I am a student at Education Institute for Blind Children located in Nyaruguru district at Kibeho. And I am glad to take this time so that I can present my letter to other children and to parents, leaders, government, and the other people in charge of helping us to continue enjoying our lives. Our desired bright future. Dear leaders, guests, and other UNICEF representatives, and all of you who are listening to us, we would like to greet you today and we express our gratitude to you as children. We appreciate your hand in everything that you are trying to help us. Your great opinion and contribution to our living conditions and in education is really helping us to improve the way we are being educated. As you are allowing us to give our opinions, I have a desire today that children, as children will be able to study and have equal access to education. I desire that equal access to education will be a thing which is realized by every person in the society. And this education will be accessible to every child.
Thank you, Jean de Dieu, for your letter.
I would like also to ask parents to feel that they are the ones to take good decisions of guiding and leading their children to schools that they can study and acquire other skills and knowledge about their rights. Teachers, you are like forgers who detect and determines our future. I desire that you are going now to improve your tasks and make us the true people of which the country and society need. Let your great value that you have in teaching us be a thing which will develop our society. I also would like to ask leaders to teach the society that the disability is not inability, so that everyone in society can realize this. So I thank you, and I know that through the hands of UNICEF and other partners who are helping us day to day, these will be achieved. Together, nothing we can't achieve. So I have one question that I would like to ask as a student. How can adult people, including leaders, parents, and other government authorities, better help and empower and support children to give their opinions and involve in the decision-making processes? Okay, that's my question.
Thank you, Jean de Dieu, for that question, and I would like Aline to respond to that question. How do you think adults, government, and other institutions can involve children in policy making?
Thank you. I would say that Jean de Dieu has just made his contribution to the advocacy voices, and we acknowledge that access to education for children with disability is still challenging, but through the collaboration and through the advocacy voices, there is a lot that can be done, and I think his voice is also matters. And what we are going to do is to fostering that no one is left behind, while considering that the children's rights, they said that they need to have access to the basic, but I would say that there is a need to go beyond and to ensure that integrated rights for children are assured. So he has spoken on behalf of other children with disabilities, but we will definitely advocate for that children with disabilities inclusion is really considered in the progress in the journey that we are yet to achieve.
Coming back to the children, Sarah, what are the most important issues you feel need attention for children in Rwanda today, and what would you like the government or policymakers to address on your behalf? You're a voice of other children who couldn't make it here.
Thank you so much. As children representative, I believe that every child has potential to do great things. So with that, I would like to ask, to require the government or other institutions that look after children, to do not, based on where the children are coming from, do not base on their gender, do not base on the circumstances they are facing, just to provide all rights, because we know that everything includes in the rights that we need. Education, healthy, protection, it's all the rights that children need. So with all the rights, we as the children, we could be the future and satisfied.
Thank you, Sarah, for the insightful discussion. Now to Jean de Dieu, what are the most important issues, or how do you think decision makers can involve you in making decisions or in choosing decisions that align with your needs?
Thank you for giving me this time. So I think that I will just speak on the three sides: parents, teachers, and the leaders. So for parents, they should talk peacefully with their children, and this will show that the children that their parents listens to their opinions and their ideas attentively, and this will improve the complexity of children in making decisions which are important and which can make a change to the society. So another thing that I think which can help us to be involved in decision-making process is to ask our readers and the other adult people to make advocacy for the setting up of groups of children which are led by children as well, because when a child like my colleague is ruling or is in charge of children council at a national level like this, she or he can be aware of how we can make and take a decision which can make some change, which can bring good changes in the society, or which can be helpful. So these will help us to improve our ideas, our opinions, and will help us to make good decisions which can bring some changes. And the other thing which I can say is to ask teachers to converse with children, students, and consider their ideas and converse with them or where their ideas are genuinely sought and valued. And these will improve their complexity in making decisions, and this will make the children the good people who can take good decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean de Dieu, for your inputs. Coming back to Juliana, we were speaking about children's rights, and UNICEF is in charge for that, if I would say it, or I would put it like that. How does UNICEF support Rwanda in translating global children's rights goals into actions that address the unique needs of Rwandan children, particularly those facing vulnerabilities? And what kind of vulnerabilities do you exactly address?
So I gave the example earlier of early childhood development, and that's certainly one area that we've been supporting the government. We also work very closely with the Ministry of Education on primary education, with the Ministry of Health on maternal and child health, with the Ministry of Local Government on social protection, Ministry of Justice, I could go on and on. But the main aim is to bring different ideas, different approaches to help government reach all children with the services that government has to provide as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So in terms of vulnerabilities, that might be children who live with disabilities. It might be children who live in rural areas and maybe have less access to services because they're a bit further away. It might be children whose parents have less money or have less education. It might be a child of a teenage mother because the teenage mother might not have all of the access and the opportunities. So it's all of these different issues and more. But the main objective is to make sure that every single child has access to the services that they need in order to grow up healthy, happy, educated, and able as adults then to contribute to society.
Coming back to Ms. Aline, she just spoke about an issue that is very relevant, teen pregnancy. How is MIJAPROF working in addressing this issue among teens, but also to ensure that children receive their rights, such as education and other rights? What are some of the policies in place to help these children?
Thank you. We have we see the teenage pregnancy issue in its complexity, and we would say that it requires a multi-sectoral approach to be able to address the issue of teenage pregnancy, and which is on rise from year to each year. And a lot has been put in place, and I would say that even the policies and the laws take care of the preventive measures to be able to prevent teenage pregnancy before it occurs. But when it has also occurred, we have different services And in the services, we see where there is the role of the ministry and also the role of the key partners, but also the role of the families in ensuring that the reintegration, proper reintegration of these teen mothers is assured. We know that when the teen mothers are well reintegrated into their families, into the society, into the schools, it is one way to prevent a secondary trauma or even risk to be abused. Among what is being done to ensure that there is prevention of the teenage pregnancy, we see a continued awareness raising on what it requires to everyone involved in this to be able to prevent the teenage pregnancy. We see educational session to the students when they are at school, as well as back when they are in the community through different community platforms that exist. And we also have the tools. We have the tools in place to be able to educate, be it parent-child communication and also the children, where they can learn on their pace. And when there is this teenage pregnancy that has occurred, we ensure that the teen mothers who have been facing the teenage pregnancy at an early age, which might be resulting from child defilement, we ensure they have access to services, health, psychosocial, the legal, access to justice, and also ensuring a smooth reintegration when they go back into their communities. Among the services, we see the services at Isange when a child has been defiled, when they are able to have access to the services, like to reach to the Isange, they are provided with medicine that prevent from being pregnant or even being contaminated with STDs and HIV. But unfortunately, when there was not that opportunity to reach at Isange within the certain time, let's say 72 hours, then the child, the teen mother, is accompanied throughout her pregnancy and also ensure that when she delivers, she is able to pursue her aspirations, her dreams. They are able to go back to school, provided with sufficient materials so that they go into the schools, but also retained within the program, and also ensure that their families are supportive so that we prevent the possibility of dropout. Yeah. So there is a lot, the tools are available, so there is a lot that has been done, but we know we are yet to reach where we want to be. So the advocacy and also the different initiatives, interventions, collaboration are fostered to ensure that at least no child below 18 gets pregnant, because it is one of the major hindrances to their future. Yeah. Thank you.
I would also like to remind you who is following us that the World Children's Day is celebrated the 20th of November every year. And coming back to Juliana as a representative of UNICEF, there is this question that the children asked that I would like to listen your inputs about it, how others, including parents, teachers, leaders, or policymakers, can better support and empower children express their opinions, because they need to be heard. We are speaking about the future voices. How do you think they can be empowered or support children?
You know, there's a phrase which I think sums it up, and that is, nothing for us or about us without us. Idea being, if we're looking at a policy about education, if we're looking at a law about reproductive health, even something in a family, we always need to, if it relates to children, then we need to consult the children and get their opinions. It doesn't mean we do exactly what they say. but it means that we get their opinions because it might tell us something that we hadn't thought about. I'll give you an example. Recently, my family has been looking, part of our life as international civil servants is every few years you move to a different place. So it was time to think about where we're going to move next. And when our daughter was 8 years old, we didn't ask for her opinion. She was much younger, you know, we made the decision, my husband and I. But this time, she's 13, 14 years old, and so we did talk to her about the options, got her opinion about different places, looked at the schools online to get her opinion about that. Again, it doesn't mean that she makes the decision and the adults, you know, just sit and do whatever the children say, but it was really important to get her opinion on that. And so I think this is really what it's about. It could be in government policies and laws, but it could be just in a family. You know, if what we're thinking about doing next, if it's going on vacation or if it's a new job or a new school, get the kids' opinion and take that into account.
Still speaking on this World Children's Day, what are some of the initiatives that have been put in place or some of the key achievements that you're happy about as UNICEF so far, like in 2024 or in the years before 2024?
There are many that I could congratulate the Rwanda government on. One that relates to the topic this year is the existence of the Children's Forum, where once a year kids come together from all over the country. You should say more about this, actually. I'll just give a little intro. But talking about the issues that are important to them. And I remember situations where young people have made suggestions, and then a little while later, we actually see that reflected in the policies that the government has then decided to enact.
Could you speak a little bit about the initiatives that helped you as young children from UNICEF?
Thank you. The initiative what helped us is it gives us the platform to express our opinions, and we show up what do we need. And we as the children, we meet and we say, the problem I have, is it the same problem they have too? So that we can see that is the government looking after this problem. So it's the platform of collaborating and sharing opinions of how from the things that the government is being providing us. So what is our task? What's our duty? So we appreciate for the forum as a children representative, because it's a good platform of showing what we really need.
Jean de Dieu, I would also like to hear about your view. What do you think, what would you say to children across Rwanda to inspire them to speak up? Because you say that you have the right to speak or for your voice to be heard. What do you think children can do to be heard?
I think that for the children to be heard, their leaders are the ones to take their part and task so that they can set the way and the platforms such as this for the children to express their opinions and to express themselves to the national level and the other levels in the country, because it can help them to improve their way of making decisions and being the ones important in the society. And this gives us the platform to express ourselves. And I think that because in society there is sometimes human rights violation or children's rights violation, and this can change when the children express themselves and show their opinions and ideas about how their rights are abused in the society, and this can be taken into consideration to be corrected.
Coming back to Lindsay, what are some of the issues that you have found in, like while you do reports or while you do assessments? What are some of the issues or challenges that you have seen that children face on a daily basis?
So one thing we've been looking at recently, in fact, there was just a big conference about this last week here in Kigali, the Foundational Learning Exchange Conference. We've been talking with the Ministry of Education about why some children drop out of school or why some children repeat a grade, you know, do second grade twice or fourth grade twice. And as the ministry analyzed this, they came up with a fantastic plan to do remedial education during the holiday period in the summer. And then they changed their policy to allow kids to take the exam again. And if they passed, even if they had failed the first time, if they passed on the second try, they could go on to the next class, which was a really fantastic way, first, obviously, to help kids advance in their education, but also it meant that the class then has fewer people in it because you don't have kids repeating the class. And the government saves money as well because they're not paying capitation grant twice and school feeding twice. So that was an example of an important issue that the Ministry of Education really took on and is finding a solution to.
Coming back to Aline, what gaps remain in international policies on children's rights, and how can countries like our country, Rwanda, contribute to closing these gaps? And what are you, as a country, doing to address these gaps that remain?
First of all, you will allow me to state that children's participation should start at home. Lindsay said it right, but it's a call for everyone to start initiating this conversation, these dialogues, starting from an early age and at home. This will ensure that even the children understand their responsibilities, the parents understand their responsibilities, and also the leaders and the partners, because as I said, addressing these challenges, it requires a multi-sectoral approach. To mention the key barriers or the gaps that we still see. We see the access to the services, like health services, including limited access to health care, especially in remote areas. We see also the nutrition challenges, the malnutrition, particularly stunting, as issues affecting children's growth and their cognitive development. This is to mention a few when it comes to health, and we could also mention when we're talking about the education as a right, a basic right to the children. We see gaps when it comes to infrastructures, where you may find insufficient schools, classrooms into the schools, but also when you find a big number of children attending the same class, also the accessibility of the schools, especially for children with disabilities in the area. We see also other gaps. Lindsay talked about the dropout, and also being able to retain the number of the students in a class throughout a school year, and also to avoid the repetition, which also affect, because children, when they repeat 2-3 times, sometimes they get discouraged and they drop out. When there is an occurrence of repetition and absenteeism, it usually leads to school dropout. So this is another gap that needs to be fully bridged throughout the process. And also we see other issues affecting children's rights and development. Maybe talking about the protection aspect, we see children exploitation, children's labor here and there. We see children's abuse, like the child defilement and other forms of children abuse, being at home within the community, but also at schools. And you find most of the people who abuse these, the children, they are not aware that they are actually abusing their children, because maybe they consider their lived experience. Sometimes they do the same, not knowing that they are hindering their children to enjoy their human rights. And maybe to mention a last one, we see children not registered in the CRVS. This is a challenge because when a child is not recognized, it is even difficult for the government to do planification and also to ensure that the classrooms that will be constructed will match the number of the children that were born in a certain year. So there are still gaps, and this is to mention a few, but when you know, in our Kinyarwanda language, they say when you know
the issue.
The issue, it's one step to addressing that issue. So also considering the children's voices as we ensure their participation in also in the decision making, we will ensure that these gaps are really bridged so that we ensure that all the children's, even the children, including the children with disabilities, their rights are upheld. Yeah.
You just mentioned that a little bit, but I would like you to explain it a little bit in detail. You spoke about challenges, but I would like to come back on health-related challenges, especially on children with disabilities, but also younger children. What are you doing as the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion to make sure that these children access these services, and also these children in remote areas who do not have information? How do you make sure that they are informed, but also you address this gap that is existing?
It's a bit hard to respond to this because you said that you asked about the issue of access to health. So what we do is to advocate and also to bring the issue on the table, to have this conversation, and also to come up with a recommendation, even key policy actions that address this. This is not really fully under the mandate of the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, in the Ministry of Health instead. But we collaborate and we ensure that what we hear from the voices of the children, or what we hear from the interventions at community level, different platforms, is brought on the table and discussed, and come with policy actions, but also interventions that address in its complexity. Because I said that children's rights is really a complex topic that requires to discuss this in a more systemic way. Yeah.
Juliana Lindsay, Aline just mentioned some of the challenges that in the Rwandan context, but I believe these challenges are around the world, even in Africa, around the world, and they are similar or even more to that. What is UNICEF doing to address these existing challenges as a partner to governments to make sure that children's voices are heard and also their needs are addressed?
You know, it's interesting. I've worked in 6 countries on the continent. And as you say, many of the issues are often the same. One thing that we do here in Rwanda is supporting the Children's Forum through Mijaprof. We've done similar things in other countries. We often, even in discussions with ministries, if they're suggesting a new policy, we will then say, have you talked to the children about this? Have you gotten their opinion about this? Can we help get the opinion of the children about this? So often it's not something that we have to do ourselves, because it's not a UNICEF policy or a UNICEF law. You know, in this case, it would be a Rwanda policy or a Rwanda law. But we might collaborate to seek the opinion of the young people.
So what are some of the future initiatives that you have in place, seeing that some of what you have initiated worked, to ensure that these gaps are bridged forever, if I would say, I would put it like that, and also to ensure that some of the recurring or other challenges that are coming now are also addressed?
I see what you mean. So one thing that we've started recently is working on helping young people gain soft skills so that they're ready for employment when they finish with school. And so we created an online platform called Ingazi. And we actually consulted, Sarah, I don't know if you are one of the ones at Maranyundo.
Yeah.
We actually consulted with young people at Maranyundo School and at several universities and several other schools. as we were in the initial stages of creating this online platform to get ideas on what it should look like, and we actually changed a lot. You know, the first website version, maybe you remember, Sarah, it wasn't really youth-friendly. And the young people gave us some really good ideas on how to change it around. They told us what kind of courses they wanted to see. But Sarah, you should comment perhaps. What else did you see what kinds of comments did you give on that platform?
As you said, before you changed the platform, it was not like youth friendly. We used to see it and it were not attractive for us. But now we thank you very much, because now it's youth friendly and it's helping us to see after moving out from the school, what's the next step. So it's helping us to see that I'm going to be majored in this. If it's about entrepreneurship, you're going to be able to be having like some ideas about entrepreneurship courses. So it's a great opportunity for us, because from out of the school, from out of the class, you know what's the next step.
Moving forward, before we have another guest that we will receive virtually, but before we go to him, we have the theme of this year that says, listen to the future. What are your inputs about this, Lindsay?
You know, it's really what we've been talking about today. It's listening to young people, because they are the future, but they can also help create the future. And we can use their ideas and their inputs to form the policies and the guidelines and the programs that we collectively, I don't mean UNICEF, we collectively create. And in some cases, it could even be young people creating things for themselves. It doesn't have to be us doing it for them.
I would like to hear also your inputs, Eileen, on this.
Thank you. This is one way to ensure that what we do is children-centered. So we need to hear them and also have this conversation. So if we want to ensure that the future is bright, the future is made by young people who have grown up, bright, resilient families and developed families, we need to start now. So if we start now, there is no other way to start without listening. So we need to listen, to engage them, to involve them, to hear them, so that they contribute to the future that we are also looking forward. So I would say that the theme stated right, because it shows that when we want to have a bright future, we start today. So we have to start listening today. Yeah.
Still speaking about listening to the future or listening to the children, as MIGEPROF, I would like to know, how are you working with families? We've been saying about measures that are on a national level, MIGEPROF is doing this and that, but how do you work with families to ensure that children's voice, or you advocate for children, because at the end of the day, these children belong to families. So how are you working with families to make sure that children get what they need?
Thank you so much. Maybe, I don't know if I'm starting right, but I would like to talk about maybe of one platform where the families and the children and also the ministry interact, and also we interact, but finding them within their contexts at their community. We have the platform of Mugoroba w'Imiryango, the family evening gathering, which are held once a month at village level. And to hear from what the families experience, but also to be able to educate them on what should be done within their families. We talk about different government programs, be it ECD, like taking children to the ECD, the sexual and reproductive health for young people, fighting against GBV, roles of both parents in providing for positive parenting and so on. So the ministry ensures that these items to be discussed, like the content, is provided on a regular basis. Actually, every month at the village level, they have the content of which they have to study or to educate themselves. We also conduct regular M&E to go hear what are the challenges and how we can support in addressing these challenges so that this umugora w'imiryango becomes more efficient and functional. Within this platform, that's where they are also able to identify the families within this village but who are not participating or who have issues affecting their children. That's where these issues are tackled. And when the families are not attending, the committee of Umugora w'imiryango ensures that they conduct family visitation. And this is in collaboration of the Inshuti z'Umuryango, who ensures that the children at home are safe and taken good care of. Apart from that, we conduct regular positive parenting outreaches where we go into the community to ensure that the parents are educated, are informed on how they should provide positive parenting, starting from even when the child is in the mother's womb until they are a certain age, 18 years. This will help us once this is really functional. It will help us preventing these issues that are affecting children, but it's really a good platform and that provide that parent-child communication, but also the leaders to understand what the community need, but also to respond to their needs. I would like also to talk about the development of different tools and the laws that are adapted. We have a new family law, which has been really adapted with new articles that ensure that the family or the community, how would I put it, what they do is actually being protected by the law, and when it's not, when it occurs, the community, the law community members really have their rights provided or protected. We have also the tools, different tools that are being developed and disseminated, and we have campaigns, educational session with the religious leaders, with the civil society, to make them understand what the family, a family that is well structured, that ensures that children live in a safe environments, needs to be. Yeah, so there is a lot. Maybe we could explore more, but I don't think if the time allows, we will go further.
We'll come back to that. And as we come towards the end of the show, let's hear from Rwanda's permanent representative to the United Nations and current president of the UNICEF Executive Board, Ambassador Ernest Rwamucyo, as he shares also his insights since assuming the presidency this year.
Thank you. It's been a journey of learning, of education, of enlightenment, and it's been quite fulfilling in many respects. We've drawn various lessons about international advocacy for children's rights during my tenure as president of UNICEF. First, we've learned that we must move beyond the traditional advocacy approaches and truly embrace this year's theme to actively listen to children. I think listening to children has been quite educative for me, that they are able to articulate their own voices, be clear about their priorities, but also be clear about how they want to be engaged. And I think that is critical, because the children are our future. We really have to be able to speak to their hopes and aspirations, and to hear them articulate that in their own voice has been quite enlightening. It has emboldened me and fellow board members also to really know that we need to secure our future. And the only way to secure that is to really focus on the children, focus on our children. But so drawing from Rwanda's experience, it has been important to see a country that has prioritized children in its national plans, and to ensure that it articulates clear priorities that can be implemented, to which resources can be allocated, and results can actually be monitored in a very tangible way. Rwanda has built institutions that actually do prioritize and undertake and champion issues of children. Good example is an institution that is already represented here, the National Child Development Agency, NCDA, which has ensured that there is sustained attention on issues of children. As I said earlier, on issues of malnutrition, early childhood development, and there are quite a lot of practices that we can be able to share. And in a way, on the executive board, we've been able to also share some of those examples coming from Rwanda and also coming from other countries. But also importantly, the issue of partnership and collaboration has been key. I think when we talk of prioritizing children and achieving results for children, we need to work with partners across the board. UNICEF has the unique ability to leverage many partners and to draw them to really allocate resources, bring knowledge and skills and expertise on issues that affect children. And we want to emphasize that a partnership is going to remain very, very important if we are to really make headway on issues related to children rights, children protection, but also improving the welfare of children globally and also at national level. So these are lessons that we've learned, and we hope that they can continue to be articulated so that they can be scaled up in many aspects to have more impact.
Thank you, Ambassador Rwamucyo, for the insightful conversation about this ongoing matter. And before we close this show, we would like to hear more about the message that you have, dear Sarah, for this World Children's Day.
Thank you so much. The message for Children's Day is to raise their awareness by speaking about the issues they are facing, forming clubs, and participating in different community activities. I would like to wish them to have a nice Children's Day, remembering that they are the future.
Yeah, Jean de Dieu, I would also love to hear about your message to other children.
Okay, thank you for giving me this time. What I would like to convey or deliver to other children is not difficult. Just as children, we are the ones to be aware of our rights, to be aware of our way to run our rights, to be the ones to produce the decisions. We should learn how to make good and the important decisions, because we are the future parents, we are the future leaders, we are the future teachers, the future government. And if we are aware of our rights today, it means that our future will be bright, because it will not have child abuse, it will not have a violation of human rights, and this will be a good and a bright future for our country.
Thank you, Jean de Dieu, for your insights, and I will not give time to the adults because it's Children's Day.
That's right.
And thank you to all our panelists for the insights, and our audience for tuning in. Today's discussion has reinforced one powerful messages, and when we listen to the children, we pave the way for a brighter and more inclusive future. And as we celebrate World Children's Day tomorrow, let us commit to amplifying children's voices and ensuring the rights are not just upheld, but championed. Until next time on the 360 Degrees, let's keep the conversation going, and remember to always listen to the future, as we said on the theme. Thank you for joining us. My name is Olive Nete.